So we are done with the two unofficial tests between the India A and the England Lions, and now we have a much clearer picture how exactly the conditions are going to be there in England for the 5-match important test series, and who are the key batters who the Indian team really needs to keep a close eye on as we get closer to the first test between India and England, which is set to start from the 20th of June. In this video, I'm going to be taking you through the report card of the India A batters and how exactly did all the batters who might just have a chance to be in that Indian 11 actually fared up in the two unofficial tests against the England Lions. Let's start with Abhimanyu Mithun. He's been around the India A team for a very long time now. He was also the captain on this tour. Previously too, he has had those captaincy stints with the India A team. He's been in and around the Indian setup, test setup in particular, since a very long time. He was there in the 2018 England tour as well as a backup opener, but unfortunately, so far he hasn't been able to get an opportunity to wear that baggy blue and have his test cap number. He had a very good opportunity this time around. The Indian team is undergoing a transition. It was his time to actually seal a spot in that Indian test team where lots of permutations, combinations are being looked at. And Abhimanyu Mithun, if he would have had a good time, could have really had his say in that Indian team. But how things turned up for him, 4 innings is what he played. He started the tour at the top of the order, and in the second game he came at number 3. 167 runs is all that he could get at an average of 42. I know the average 42, it looks average. It does not look like it's a poor average, neither it's a too good average. It's an average in that sense. But you have to keep in mind that out of the 167 runs, 80 came of just one innings, and that is why an Abhimanyu Mithun might not be looked at as we go closer to the first test. And in the starting 11, there could be a possibility there might not be any Abhimanyu Mithun in that team. And again, the Abhimanyu Mithun goes back to square one, where it might be a possibility that after this tour ends, maybe he hasn't gotten his debut, because this was his opportunity, and in a way he sort of wasted it despite him being the captain of the India A team. Moving ahead, Sarfaraz Khan not included in the India squad, unlike Abhimanyu Mithun, who is part of the Indian test squad for the England series. Sarfaraz Khan was missing in that team when it was announced by the BCCI. There were questions over him that why isn't he getting an opportunity, to which the selector said that not everybody can get a cut in that Indian squad. And how things planned out for him, he just played the one game. 92 runs is what he got, average of 92 as well. Just played at one game, got one innings in that game. And because in the second innings of the first unofficial test, he did not get an opportunity to bat. In the second unofficial test, it was Rahul who got slotted into that 11. And because of that, Sarfaraz Khan had to make way, which clearly indicates that the Indian setup at this point of time is really not looking at a Sarfaraz Khan, because there were other people who could have been dropped ahead of the second unofficial test, but they decided to do that with Sarfaraz Khan. But whatever we say, he got those runs. There were questions over his technique in the swinging conditions. He showed everybody that he can score runs, but then did not get any opportunity. He is not in the Indian squad, so it looks very unlikely and uncertain that he might be told to stay back. You see him coming back to India, just playing the one innings, and in that too he got those runs. So the Indian selectors really are not still, despite him scoring runs, are not looking at him as a prospect for the Indian middle order test in the test team at a point where India is undergoing a very tricky phase in their test cricket. Moving forward, Dhruv Jurel, he's been the bright spot for Indian test cricket all the way since the England team came to India. He had a very good Australia A tour as well, and now when it comes to the India A playing the England Lions, he's had a very good time over there. 4 innings, 2 games he played, 227 runs at an average of 76. Absolutely staggering numbers, and what this would have done is that just maybe, where all of us were expecting that Sai Sudarshan will come at 3 and Karun Nair will come at 6, with Rishabh Pant slotting in at 5. There could be a very big possibility now that in between Sai Sudarshan and Karun Nair, just one makes the cut, and there could be a possibility now with what Dhruv Jurel has done, shown that he has the caliber to play in those swinging conditions. He's looked one of the better batters for the Indian team. There is a possibility now that because of this performance, the plans change for the Indian team, and you get in a Karun Nair at number 3 and Dhruv Jurel starts to play at number 5 or 6 in that sense with Rishabh Pant. So that is something that he has really helped his cause. He did exactly the same thing in before the Australia tour, and then he got a chance to play in the BGT, just the one test match, but still the India A tour really shows you a lot, and Dhruv Jurel has made the most out of it this time around. KL Rahul, I think, even though if he would not have played these one of the unofficial tests, he still was the first choice opener for the Indian test team with Yashasvi Jaiswal. But although the reason for him to go was to make the most out of the conditions, to get acclimatized in those conditions, and he did it really well. 2 innings, 167 runs at an average of 83 in the 2 innings. 1 innings he got 100, 1 innings he got a 50. Clearly, by far, looked the best batters across both teams. KL Rahul has shown once again that why the Indian team backs him so much, why he's given such a long rope, and why the yardstick is different for him. Because as soon as you need experience, as soon as the team is in trouble, and as soon as the ball swings or you are in overseas conditions, it is KL Rahul who more often than not steps up, and that's exactly what he's doing this time around as well. But the only thing that goes against him, that he starts the tour very well but ends up then ending the tour pretty poorly, and that is why people are not able to change people's perception, and his numbers also don't really change much, because he starts well but second half of the tour it doesn't really pan out his way. We saw that in Australia as well. This time that is something he would want to change. He would want to make sure that he is consistent all across the 10 innings that he gets to play in all likelihood on that long English tour. Next player, Nitesh Kumar Reddy. After the century he got in BGT, he clearly becomes an obvious pick for the Indian test team. He was part of the India A tour. 4 innings is what he got. 2 matches he played, 135 runs at an average of 45. To be very honest, as you know, like we were talking about Abhimanyu Mithun and as well, an average of 45 is pretty average in that sense, you know. You talk about averages of 50, 60 in test cricket when you rate batters of the class of high class. But Nitesh Kumar Reddy on this India A tour hasn't really been able to leave a mark in that sense. Just the average of 45. With the ball also, he wasn't able to leave a mark. But what he did in Australia, it looks pretty a surety that he might just be starting in the Indian 11. Him or Shardul Thakur, there could be a possibility you play with both of them as well. All of that will depend on the combination, the team management, a new captain in Shubman Gill and Gautam Gambhir would want to look at. But he had a middling sort of an India A tour. Next player is Yashasvi Jaiswal. He too had a terrible run, just the average of 27, 4 innings, 110 runs, and he got 150 in those 4 innings. And despite that 50, he could manage just 110 runs. And to be very honest, he looked at seed. It looked really uncomfortable against the swinging ball. That is something he really needs to work on. And the time is very less, just a couple of weeks away now from the first test match. He is definitely going to be the first choice opener with KL Rahul, despite his torrid run in England, in the England Lions India A tour. But still, he really needs to work on the fact that the ball is definitely going to swing a lot. It could swing even more than what we saw in these 2 unofficial tests. But Yashasvi Jaiswal will really need to step up, because in this time when the Indian team finds itself in a soup, it is going to be players like Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill and KL Rahul, and of course Jasprit Bumrah, who will really have to do majority of the weightlifting and really ease it on the other youngsters who are playing their first England tour. Next player is going to be the last but not the least, Karun Nair. There's a reason why he's last on this list, because undoubtedly, if there has been a batter who has made the most out of the India A Tour, that has been Karun Nair. Double 100 in the very first innings, 40 to follow that up, and he has assured himself a place in the 11 of the first test match that is set to begin from the 20th of June. You can, in a way, sort of be assured that on the 20th of June, Karun Nair will be returning in Indian colours. It's not going to be a debut, but like often big players say, it's always much more difficult to make a comeback as compared to when you're making a debut. And that is something that Karun Nair will be weighing on. The 200 was absolutely terrific. He assured himself at that point itself that he's going to starting in that 11. Now it's going to be very interesting where he bats in the Indian Test team. There are two possibilities. He could either bat at 3, assuming Shubman Gill is coming at 4, or he could bat at number 5 or 6, depending upon Rishabh Pant and him being the 5 and 6. But for that, then at number 3, you will have to get in a Sai Sudarshan. Abhimanyu Mithun is another option, but with the kind of performance he's had and the way the team actually looks at an Abhimanyu Mithun, it looks unlikely that it would be him. Sai Sudarshan got a straight-up call-up in the Indian Test team, wasn't part of the India A Tour. He was expected to go there for the second Test match, but that did not happen because Gujarat Titans had qualified for the playoffs. So in that sense, that's going to be a little tricky decision that the Indian management has to take. But in all likelihood, it looks like that Karun Nair, who's batted at number 4 all throughout the India A Tour, he might come in at number 3, and then you might fit in a Dhruv Jurel in the middle order with the likes of Rishabh Pant. But undoubtedly, an average of 86, 59 runs, I beg your pardon, in the 3 innings, and it's been a great time for Karun Nair. He's played county cricket earlier as well. It's not like he's in England for the first time, and that's the experience the Indian team is going to require when that all-important 5-match test series is going to begin with this new era Indian Test team. That is how things turned up for the India A squad in the 2 unofficial test matches. The test series are now, we're getting really close to the test series. The Indian team has started their preparation. The calculations, the combinations, the heads would have already started to think a lot, and this is how the 2 test matches is something that they are going to look at very closely. For now, that is all that I've got for you. What are your thoughts on it? Who, according to you, are going to be the batters who will be sorting in that middle order for the Indian Test team come the 20th of June? You can let me know that in the comment section below. But for now, that is all that I've got for you. I hope you're liking our coverage here on Sports Today. So if you haven't joined the community so far, do not forget to press the subscribe button, like this video, share it with your friends, and press the bell icon so that as soon as we are live or there's any interesting content coming your way, you guys come to know first.